Well, hello, YouTube. Born to be Wild, NE here. And as always, NE stands for Nebraska. Go Big Red Ye Huskers! It is Thursday, November 1st. Forecasted high in Lincoln is 63. Just short of 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Central Time. I'm headed out for what may be my last ride for a little while. Haven't ridden over into Iowa for quite a while, so that's where I'm headed today. Iowa's just 45, 50 miles from Lincoln. Pretty gorgeous day. Morning didn't warm up very quickly. At 11 our time, it was still in the 30s. But you know, the wind isn't blowing so crazy today. That makes it nice. And here's a Nebraska flag that kind of shows it's blowing gently but not briskly. I follow a motovlogger, two-wheeled rider. He lives in West Virginia. And he's in the middle of posting video clips from a trip he took from West Virginia to Alaska in July. And just in the last couple of days, he posted his clip when he was riding through Glacier National Park on the Going to the Sun Road. And reminded me how beautiful that is, and how badly I want to get up there. Pretty much decided not to try Alaska in 2019, but to do it in 2020. I hope there are still glaciers in Glacier National Park by 2020. They're going away fast and furious. In Alaska, too. Alaska is also experiencing global warming. I know some people think this is flyover territory. In its own way, it's pretty beautiful. Gently rolling hills. Colors change as the seasons go along. Everybody's different, and that's, to most of us, a good thing. All different tastes, different wants, different needs, different desires. Lots of bike riders love Harleys, and others prefer other bikes. And I just hate it when I see riders in a online discussion thread or something that are bashing a quote of the other, quote, end quote, rider. Oh, how can you ride a Harley? Unreliable, no power, blah, 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 blah. And some Harley riders, bashing back to folks who like other bikes. And even the freedom of riding a bike is thought about differently by different people, right? Lots of riders don't like to wear a helmet, and don't if they're in a state that doesn't require it. And other riders choose to wear a helmet. And then there are different kinds of helmets. But why do we need to bash someone who's making a choice different than we do? When I was growing up, I was taught that people in the groups that put down, call names, they're demeaning, they personally attack other people or groups, are really falsely trying to elevate themselves by putting someone else down. And when they do that, they're really revealing more about their own character than about the character of the people or groups that they're attacking. Like when you point a finger at someone else, there's what, 3 fingers pointing back at you? For Christians, there's the story about the need to take the log out of your own eye before trying to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. We human beings are full of frailties and faults. So easy for us to fall into judging others and other things that we don't maybe understand. And I do it too. Every human being does. I choose to wear armored gear and motorcycle boots and gloves and a full-face helmet for safety reasons. To me, they don't really impede on my experience of being out on the bike. And it's more about a safety issue. Should I have some sort of an accident, I think that the stats say that I have a much better chance of being able to fully and more quickly recover, to be able to ride again. In the 1970s, late 1970s, I took the Motorcycle Safety Foundation's Basic Riding Skills course in Lincoln, Nebraska. This is before we started moving around the country. Back then it was 3 straight Saturdays. And so I was interested in a bike. I didn't have one. I didn't have an immediate goal of getting one. I wanted to check them out and see if I liked them. And back then I lived in an apartment and took the work downtown in Lincoln and took a city bus to and from work. So one day, must have been late fall or so, I was at the bus stop after work. So the sun was very low on the horizon in the west. And I was watching this bike ride down the main street, O Street, of Lincoln, and he was riding west to east, and went through this intersection, and all of a sudden he wasn't there anymore as I was tracking him with my eyes. Backtracked and quickly, right away, saw the rider flopping onto the pavement. What had happened was there was a little Datsun pickup. I'm pretty sure it was Datsun back then. It hadn't changed to Nissan. And he was going east to west, and he was in the left-hand turn lane wanting to turn south. And because the sun was so low, he was blinded and did not see the motorcycle. So he turned right in front of him. This happened between the second Saturday and the third Saturday of the course that I was taking. And on the third Saturday, towards the end of the day, you took your written test and your riding test, and if you passed both those, you could just take your course certificate into the DMV and get a endorsement added for motorcycles on your driver's license without doing a test there or riding in front of an instructor or a law enforcement officer. And back then, that written test was proctored by a state highway patrolman. Or at least there was a state highway patrolman in his official capacity at that course. And I had a chance to ask him about, if he knew about that accident. And he told me, yeah, he knew about it. And that rider was going to be a vegetable for the rest of his life. Let me give you a little additional detail. All the rider had on were shorts and flip-flops. Nothing else. Back then, the state of Nebraska did not have a helmet law. It does today. And annually, they try to take it away. There's always a legislative attempt, but it seems to fail every year. So anyway, he flopped off that bike with shorts and flip-flops on. And we talked about it in that class, and we talked about it from several perspectives. What if he had been wearing full gear, including a full-face helmet? And obviously there are no absolute certainties about what would have happened because we're speculating. But the odds are that he wouldn't have been a vegetable for the rest of his life. We also talked about, what was going on in that incident, and even though the motorcyclist was not in the wrong, could he have done anything differently? And this is a lesson that stuck with me my entire life. I mean, this has been a long, long time ago. But one thing was, the motorcyclist should be always aware of where the sun is relative to him or her, and thinking about, okay, which cagers or other people are going to be blinded as they attempt to look at me, but because the sun is behind me. Usually this is going to be when the sun is lower in the sky, obviously. So, in that case, that rider had been thinking about that, and he saw the Nissan pickup in the left-hand turn lane, and he could have said, well, wait a minute, that guy might not be able to see me because of this behind me. I'm going to slow down, and I'm going to be cautious. Because if he turns in front of me, I'm in a big world of hurt. Even though he's wrong and I'm right, I'm the one that pays for it, right? So that was a huge lesson personally. And I haven't forgotten it to this day. As long as my brain is functioning, I don't think I ever will forget it.